Today we're going to make a candy bouquet, and you can use this for to give a gift for birthday, Halloween, Christmas, and you can use the seasonal candies to theme your gift. You can use any kind of candy that you would like to use. I'm going to use just a plain glass jar as my vase. You could use a mason jar. You could use a small box and wrap it in whatever paper you would like. And then I'm going to use a piece of foam that I had on hand. You know, if you have deliveries that have foam in that, save those pieces of foam and you can use it later. If you don't have any foam, you could use just a foam cup turned upside down. Inside the jar, you might have to glue it a little to keep it sturdy and steady as you put your candies in the jar. Then you'll need a bag of candy. I have just some assorted candies that have about 30 small bite-sized pieces in it. I have some skewers that I found at the grocery store, and I'm using a glue gun with a couple of glue sticks, some wire cutters, and then I have just some shredded colored paper to put down inside my jar to hide the foam. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was to place the piece of foam into the jar, and it's pretty snug, so now I'm going to add some of the shredded paper and just kind of work it in around the foam. So I've got my jar prepared and ready to get started. I can add more shreds once we've got the candy in the jar. If you don't want to do this step, you could wrap your jar, or if you've watched Suzanne's video on Mod Podge, you could get really creative and find a pretty napkin or something and basically glue that to the outside of the jar and make a decoration that way. You can pretty much do it however you would like. So now let's get started with our gluing our candy on the skewers. So I have grouped my candy together, so I make sure I use some of each kind. And as you can see, I have put some hot glue on about a 2-inch portion, maybe 1.5 inches of the end of the skewer. And then I have placed the candy on that, and I'm allowing it to dry. So I'm going to put just a few more pieces, glue a few more pieces on the skewers right now. So I've placed the first 4 pieces that I've glued near the back of the jar. You just decide which is going to be your front and which is going to be your back, and start near the back. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take one of the skewers and use the non-pointed end and cut about an inch and a half off of the end of that, and then glue more pieces. So I'm gonna glue 4 more pieces. So I've placed those 4 pieces that I've cut even shorter in the jar. And then for the next row, I'm going to cut a piece that looks to be about 3 inches. So I'm going to cut 4 more skewers and then place the candy on those. I have added the 3rd row that was cut down even more in the front of the jar. And then I've cut another piece that I believe is about 4 inches, and I'm going to do 4 of those, and then just kind of fill in around the bottom, and then we'll see what we need. And if you're OCD like me, I'm going to have to remove that upside down R and fix that. So now I'm going to do 2 or 3 more longer pieces and fill in near the back. So I've taken 3 more longer pieces and filled in near the back, and now I'm gonna still use just the long pieces and fill in on the sides. And just make sure you let the glue dry on that candy, the wrapper, before you try to press that down into the foam, because it will burn you. So as you can see now, it's filled in pretty well. I've used, I think, 21 pieces of candy. And so now I'm going to put more of the shreds in the jar and finish it off with a bow. I had some raffia on hand, so this is our finished product.